Yeah.
Gotta be this far away from the microphone.
Okay, well, you're professionals, I got two professionals. So just to clear the air, I'm not into performing art club. So, I'm looking out and I'm thinking, why am I up here? You know, I'm just one of all of you. Anyway, my story actually starts when I was 50, which is a long time ago. And I was divorced. I became divorced at 50, and of course my life changed. So I had to rearrange my life financially, psychologically, emotionally. And when it was all said and done, I said, what am I gonna do? You know, I raised children and so forth and so on. So I had to actually think, how can I change my life so that I have purpose? Because you know, when you wake up in the morning, you always have to have purpose. Without purpose, it's no point. So that was at the time when I met a lady, her name was Edith Katz, and she was very involved in Holocaust education. And we had something called the Governor's Council on Education relating to the Holocaust, and we were just getting into the classrooms to teach about the Holocaust. And that's when Schindler's List came out around that time. So Schindler's List really was the first time that survivors were actually recognized, and also the time when survivors needed a voice. So from Schindler's List, the Shoah Foundation was formed. And the purpose of the Shoah Foundation was to interview Holocaust survivors. And when all was said and done, the Shoah Foundation interviewed over 50,000 survivors at that time, which was in the early 90s. So I thought, when I'm looking, trying to find myself at 50, I'm thinking, that's for me. That's the thing I wanted to do. I was a teacher, I did a lot of other things, but that's really what I wanted to do. So I went to I was trained at Universal Studios. They, if a survivor wanted to be interviewed, they had to call the Shoah Foundation. We couldn't say, oh, do you want to be interviewed? So 10 of us from Las Vegas went to Universal Studios to the Shoah Foundation, and we were interviewed and trained on how to interview people. And that was an incredible experience, which I've actually carried on because that was a huge life lesson. Anyway, so I came back here, and that was just at the time when many people who were survivors who lived in California survived that earthquake. I think it was like 1993, if I'm not mistaken. So it was like a perfect storm. Survivors were of the age to retire, and they were of the age to do other things in their lives. And so we had 200 survivors who came to Nevada to actually live in Sun City, Summerlin. So that was we had just had a wonderful opportunity to interview survivors. So that's what I did. I interviewed about 35 survivors, and it actually was the watershed of my life. When you speak to people who have been through hell, what problem do you have? You know, what, your hair doesn't look good, or you know, you got divorced, or whatever it was. Nothing could actually come close to what these people went through. So in the interim of interviewing survivors, I met a really nice guy. He was a survivor. He was married at the time, and we were friends for a long time. And then I went to Poland to, I went to Yad Vashem, and I was there for a month learning about the Holocaust, which is sort of interesting. But anyway, I saw him, and so I had interviewed him way before, and I saw him as friends with him. And then I said, hi Dave, how are you? He said, well, my wife is gone. I said, oh my God, she died. He said, no, she left me for my best friend after 42 years of marriage. Okay. So, yeah, that was, yeah. Anyway, so we got married 3 months later. And had a wonderful life, really had a wonderful life. And so the marriage to Dave, and even before interviewing survivors, just taught me so many life lessons, and really gave me such an insight into living, I guess. And so I learned a few things along the way, which I wanted to share with you. And it may not, one of the things which Dave taught me was, it may not be the reality you want, but it's the reality you can live with. And that's a very, very important life lesson, because things happen to us, and they're not always good things, but we have to be able to live with them. And that was the wonderful thing about being married to Dave. There was no problem that couldn't be solved. It was just, nothing was that horrible. The other thing other lesson that I learned was to accept yourself for who you are and embrace it. Take advantage of the mentors in your life, because I think we've all had mentors, and those are the people that allow you to move forward in your life. And then be friends, like you said, be friends with the people who are uplifting. Nobody needs negativity. It's just not a good thing. So don't sweat the small stuff. And that's my story. And one more thing. Bonnie is recording me, so now I'm saying, hello, children.